Hello again, folks. So I'm no doomsday prepper. I'm a stamp collector. I figure if something bad's going to happen tomorrow, I'll deal with it then. I don't want to spend my time worrying about it. But there is something fascinating about the stamps from dead countries. And what I'm particularly interested in are the stories of hope that you can find, even in the midst of tragedy. For example, in the middle of the Warsaw Uprising in 1944, as the Polish underground was fighting for liberation, a slogan spread amongst the troops. "Westerplatte fights on," they said. The story of Westerplatte should begin at the confluence of many economic, historic, geographic, political, and cultural narratives, but for the short video that this stamp collector has planned, it's going to start with the formation of the Free City of Danzig in 1921. The First World War is over, and the Treaty of Versailles is setting the terms for what is hoped will be a lasting peace. The plan calls for Poland to have secure access to the Baltic Sea, and in order to do that, the treaty converted the strategically important port city of Danzig and its surrounding regions into a free city-state governed by the League of Nations. It will be represented abroad by the Polish government, and Poland will have special access to its port, and yet roughly 90% of its population is German. Hence the compromise. By not granting the region entirely to Poland, the Western powers were hoping that they could prevent future conflicts. It didn't work. In the 12 years that the Free City of Danzig was in existence, it became known as the most dangerous city in Europe because of its potential to spark a global conflict, and also because it was the location of many attacks against minority groups within the city, especially its Jewish population. Meanwhile, in Germany, annexing Danzig became a rallying cry for the resentment-fueled Nazi movement. And on September 1st, 1939, the Nazis' invasion and destruction of Poland began. The first shots of World War II came from the German battleship Schleswig-Holstein, targeting a depot for Polish munitions on the Westerplatte Peninsula. Defending the base were roughly 220 men, and over the course of the next 6 days they fought off 3,400 German soldiers, 1 battleship, 2 torpedo boats, and 60 aircraft. The German army believed they would take Westerplatte in 10 minutes. Thousands of bombs, bullets, and 2 burning trains later, they actually lit on fire 2 trains and rolled them at the base. It didn't work. They lit on fire the surrounding forest, making it easier for the Polish troops to see the invading German army. But ultimately, the German army won and took the base, but only at the expense of 50 killed soldiers, 150 wounded men, and a legend that lives on to this day of 220 Polish soldiers that held at bay the rising tide of the German army for 6 days. There can be hope inspired by tragedy, but there's also heartbreak and hardship, obviously. Tens of thousands of Polish men, women, and children died, were displaced, or sent to concentration camps. And in Danzig, one of the worst tragedies happened in a post office. The Treaty of Versailles created a Polish post office in Danzig. It was an extraterritorial property, meaning its land was Polish, even though it was located within the Free State of Danzig. Hence, it was a long-standing source of resentment to the German population, and it became an early target of the invading German army. Much like over at the munitions depot, Polish defenders were able to initially repel the first onslaught, but then the fire department of Danzig pumped gasoline into the basement of the post office building and lit it on fire with a grenade. 8 people were killed, both from fire and from bullets, including the 10-year-old daughter of the building's caretaker. Eventually, 38 people surrendered, each of whom were later executed by a firing squad. So why do I collect the stamps from dead countries? Because I believe in the power of stories. I think they shine a light not just on our past, but on who we are today. And, like the defenders of Westerplatte showed us, even in the midst of tragedy, legends can live on that inspire us. If you liked today's video, please go ahead and like it, and do subscribe to the channel. It means a great deal to me. Till next time.